Am I just running? Am I just running the Cody stream? Oh shit! This is too much power.
Oh, what's up? Here in chat.
Yeah, what's up?
Chillin'. How about you? Let me start recording this. Okay. So obviously, it's a little different with you because not only are you like established already, like I already know who you are, but I'm assuming part of the reason for this is to make your commentary, like to have more stuff on deck for commentary. I think we talked about that at some point, right?
For sure, yeah. I think just getting your insight on just the way you play the game and whatnot, and how you would go about improving would probably help my commentary too. Aside from just my gameplay improving.
Yeah. Of course. Usually, there are a lot of concepts that I wouldn't bother going into. Just broad, like neutral concepts that is just like not really worth to go into at this level. But obviously, since it's for your commentary too, I'm probably going to start talking about them just so you have them.
Yeah.
I was going to preface this with I'm not the authority on Melee. I'm sure I don't need to clarify that, but not the authority. Nothing I say is infallible. This is just going to be my perspective as best I can. Especially because I'm not a Falcon main, obviously. Like, I'm sure there are things that Wizzy, Nun, SJ know far more about the character than me, but from the other side, I know a lot, and I know just enough about the game that I'm sure I can give you enough information to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, and I sent specifically Fox sets because I figured you could tell me what Fox dislikes in certain situations that I could be using more, things like that.
I could do floaties too. I think Falco might be the tricky one for me because I don't understand Falco super well. I could definitely do floaties because I think floaties versus Falcon is like pretty cut and dry. I don't want to say one-dimensional, but I think it's pretty cut and dry. I think there's like standard stuff you can do in them.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Okay. Quick question for you. You do this short out back air. What are you trying to cover?
I guess maybe like a slight fadeaway, or I don't know. I think a lot of my moves, what I'm realizing when I rewatch my sets, is I'm not super thinking about exactly what I'm trying to punish when I do it. I'm just kind of feeling based on the game. So I throw out some hitboxes, especially at the start of sets, that don't really have any purpose.
Yeah. So to me, this looked like you were trying to like cover like a nair or something. That's what would jump to mind when you do this back air. I could be wrong. That's what it looks like to me. And so the first thing I'm going to want you to think about when you come into a game like this is obviously you have a kit of tools. You have a kit of tools that you have. You choose this back air. And why would you choose back air? Probably to cover nair. Like, I can't see you trying to do this to beat out a drill. You'd rather just dash chance grab the drill, right? That seems like way more intuitive. So let's look at this again. So we're both you're on the ground, right? And you do this back air. A few things could happen. One, you're already into up smash percent. So Fox is going to look for a single laser. Because when I hit you with one laser... Okay, so that was I actually paused on a drill frame. Fox looks for one laser. The second I hit you with one laser, you're now in up smash percent. You get knocked down. So that back air, for a variety of reasons, I don't know if I super like it at the beginning before you kind of know what they're going to do. If they're going to like run in and full hop in and you stuff with the back air, maybe that's okay. I don't really consider SFOP that type of Fox. So let's say I expect him to nair here. What would I do as Falcon? Well, I could do the back air. Best case scenario, we trade, but I don't really want to trade when I'm at 0. I'd rather either get an opening or not take percent if I have the opportunity to, because I don't want to get the up smash range. So what would I do? Well, I expected a nair. I'd probably just crouch cancel it.
Yeah.
Right?
That makes sense, yeah.
Like if you just
get grounded.
What does he do about it if he nairs? Yeah, he drilled, so would have lost the situation. But it's okay to lose a situation if you had a good thought process for it, and you just got outplayed. Like, I don't see anything wrong with just getting outplayed. Let me mute notifications, but thank you, Omega. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
I don't see any reason that you should be afraid to lose a situation if you have like a good thought process for it. Because even if it's short term, if you have a reason for you doing something, even if it's bad, you can go back and you can learn from it. And then the next time you see that situation, you can have an informed way to play it better.
Right.
So you're going to want to start consciously thinking. You don't have to do it in the game, but just general things like, okay, I'm at 0. Fox like to nair here. CC is probably decent. Don't do it every time, of course, but that's a good way to start going about it. Because if you just start throwing out hitboxes, eventually, sure, maybe your intuition picks up on one or two things that work, but you're never going to really get a grasp for why something works, and that's going to make it when you run into someone who plays the mix-up game in a way that counters you, you have no way to counter back. Right? because you have no basis of understanding what's going on. So when you're in situations like this, you're going to start figuring out what's actually good here. So I think CC is pretty good at low percent. You know, none literally, the notification you might have just heard if the stream isn't muted, came from none dashback crouch canceling me the entire time at SmashCon because I kept naring in like a moron.
Right.
And I didn't know why any of it worked. Like, it worked against Wizzy, it worked against Johnny, but it didn't work... Excuse me, it didn't work against none. And I never adapted because I didn't know why it didn't work, and that's why I got completely rolled that set. But if I had said, okay, I understand why this nair works, it's because Wizzy does the dashback stomp, and then when I do the full hop nair in, I catch around the stomp, and then I get an up tilt out of it, and that's really good. Or Johnny really likes to try to dash back and like grab, and the nair kind of beats that. If I had known that, and I'd be like, okay, none CCing, this is why this game plan's bad, and I'd been conscious about it, chances are that set does not go that way. Maybe do I say a win? No. But it doesn't go the way that it went, right?
Right.
Because I have an actual foundation to understand what's going on. Here... And I know this is a lot to just talk about on literally a split second of an interaction, but it's indicative of a larger problem where you're not going to be able to, especially with Falcon, because he's so, again, I don't want to use the term one-dimensional, but there's a lot of answers that he has, like things that you just have to do, things that you're just looking for, right?
Right.
It's not like Fox where it's like, oh, you can do any one of these 80 trillion combos, but you actually have to mix it up because if they do the right DI once, you can get out of it. Not saying that Falcon's better, but that's just like an objective quality that he has, or like same thing with Falco. Falcon, you know what you're looking for. You know what you want, and you know you're going to get a lot when you get off of it. What are his problems? Not the best neutral, obviously. Like, he has great drift, he has great mobility, but he doesn't have great grounded options besides run up and grab, right? He has great aerial drift, great air mobility, but even his aerials, they're kind of slow. You can react to them. So if I'm sitting here on the ground, Fox, when he's here, I actually don't like approaching Falcon that much anymore because I can react to anything he does in the air. If he jumps, I just shield. If he lands, I shine out a shield.
Yeah, especially if the Falcon is CCing, then what does the Fox kind of look for in that situation? Just grabs, I guess? Or...
Drill's good.
Drill's
good. Running Shine Up Smash is good. I use Running Shine Up Smash a lot versus Falcon. I don't know if other Foxes use it. I really like it. I haven't seen any Falcon counter it yet. I guess Smash Yang hard away would be the answer, but if you Smash Yang hard away, you're losing the ability to crouch cancel. And so if I do anything else, that's going to bode really badly for you.
Right, like reverse up tilt can pick that up even if I Smash DI away.
Yeah.
Unless it's like super hard Smash DI away or something.
Exactly. And so all of this basically boils down to this back air had no purpose. And if you don't have a purpose, the second someone plays a mix-up that you're not aware of or mix-up game that you don't understand properly, you don't win. It's like basically impossible to win because you don't know how to make the proper adjustments, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think you're going to see a lot of that, honestly, in this set where the hitboxers don't quite have like a game plan. So that's a good thing to point out for sure.
And even if they do have a game plan, it's equally important to go back and figure out, was your game plan good, was it bad, how could I make it better? And there's a very easy way to do it. I like looking at things through risk reward. So I've talked about this in a Falco lesson. This should be pretty obvious because I'm sure you've watched a lot of Fox Falco. Let's say Falco's here and Fox is here, and he's doing a crossover back air, right? I'm sure you've seen a million Foxes do that.
Yeah.
Like they run up, they nair, they back air, and Falco's here. They're both at 0. What's the best case scenario for Fox there?
You'd get a grab or...
No, you just get an aerial and that's it, and it resets.
Oh, I see.
And what's the worst case scenario?
Then you get shined or you get reversaled. Yeah.
Not good risk reward, right? And so that's a pretty good way to start figuring out, because you don't want to play the entire game through risk reward in a vacuum, because Melee is not in a vacuum. But it's a good way to start looking at things, because let's say, this might be bad risk reward, but the meta dictates that Foxes really do like an approach that this back air counters. Maybe they like running up and full hopping a lot because they watched me too much, and it's not actually that good. Then yeah, you want to back air more because you know that's what Foxes are more likely to do. But at least for starting analysis, it's a good way to generally look. It's like, okay, what do I have? What does he have? Do I have anything that's either better risk reward, or perhaps do I have something that I could have not interacted here and waited out this interaction and then played the next one, and I would have had been in a better spot there, right?
Right.
And so what are your options?
No, that makes sense.
You could have dashed back. Falcon in the corner, though, not great, right? I don't think you really want to be in the corner.
Right.
Could have done the Wizzy fullback stomp. Maybe not bad, especially if he likes a short hop. That might not be bad at all. Wizzy loves doing it, and I think it does really well against the short hop heavy Foxes if they don't space super well. So that's maybe an option, and obviously you can CC. And so you look at what beats what beats the drill, what beats the nair, and then you kind of go from there and you figure out, like, okay, what should I be doing more or less? I talk a lot about, like, models that I have when I play, and that's kind of how I think about it, where it's like, these are options that are good, like, this amount of time. And so, like, this option's good, but it loses to this option. And so how should I try to structure how frequently I go for which to have the best, like, expected, like, outcomes? Right? And again, this is a very long and convoluted way of saying this back air had no purpose, and so this is going to be a problem.
Right. Makes sense.
Okay, so you get immediately out of headstone, you jump. I'm not going to go too much into the micros of each situation. I just want a general understanding of what you do. So you're jumping. You're already jumping a lot out of shield.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely
a jumpy falcon.
And again, maybe like one of these times you get up. Maybe you just want to crouch on get up. He's just airing, right?
Yeah, especially at low percents. I'm definitely not using CC nearly as much as I should.
It looks like your initial instinct. So every single one of these interactions so far, your instinct is either to wall him out or to get away. So the back air walls it out. Jump out of shield, try to get out of the situation. Jump here out of shield, get out of the situation. Here, dash back, get out of the situation. Right?
Yeah.
You're not really holding space properly at all. You're not threatening anything forward. And granted, you can. You got opened up by Fox. And this shit is scary to you. Like, you can't just be like, oh, well, I got hit by Fox. I'm just going to reverse it. But it's something to consider. And you're getting opened up now. Okay, you got the shield grab. Nice. Little A on the up air. I like the back air. Every Fox likes to shine soul. Stomp.
I guess that stomp doesn't cover that angle, huh?
How have you seen the Falcons recently doing this drop down back air?
Yeah, the drop down back air is really good here. That's true.
Because if you go straight up, he doesn't have to. I don't think he gets back to ledge. I don't think
I could re-grab it too.
Yeah,
grab it in time.
Yeah. So drop down back here probably looks really good. Small optimizations like this, I'm sure I'll go about how I would decide stuff like this, but optimizations like this, I'm sure you could like figure out yourself. I'll walk you any situations that I see repeated. I'll walk through with you, but stuff like this, I'm sure you can figure out on your own, just through like analysis. A most effective way to use analysis actually, like let's say I'm not around, right, and you see the situation a million times. Literally just pull up the first Falcon Fox rod you see. Pull up, I think none overall has the best ideas for edge guarding, but he's just an idiot about it sometimes and throws himself off stage and dies. But his ideas are usually really good, and so I like pull him up about him. Like, okay, how does he deal with this situation? And just like look for it, like tunnel vision on it.
Got it.
Okay, I like that. The movement was tricky. This was all good. I actually expected him also because do you know why this movement, like what this actually covered?
If he ledge dashes in and he ledge dashes in, right?
Yep, exactly.
That's why I ran back to perfect. Sort of center it.
I'm just making sure that you like did that consciously. But yeah, that was perfect. That was a really good option. And you know that again, character archetypes, right? You've already seen that SFOP very prone to attacking you. He wants to run you over, right? And so you put that into a model of a player. What's he most likely to do off the ledge? Fox is off the ledge. He's probably going to nair you. So that's a good player adjustment if that was indeed like intentional. That's a really good player adjustment to be able to make on the fly. Got the spot dodge read. You were a little off.
Yeah.
Shield's not been working out too much.
Yeah, I'm not really the best at getting out of a lot of these shield pressure situations, but I think that's something I could. I tend to jump a lot out of shield. Yeah,
and not great against Fox. if he nairs you, that's just a field day for him. Holding shield and then rolling at an ambiguous timing is good. Also, if Fox full hops into the corner, I don't know if SL does it yet, but if Fox full hops into the corner, you can react to that full hop and roll in because it's safe at that point. Unless he does like a crazy read and pulls back. That's actually something that Johnny and Wizzy got me with a lot. If I full hopped here and they were shielding, they catch him out of shield, they would just roll back.
Right.
You could try instant up air on get up, maybe just to stuff him out. I don't know how good it is. I've never thought about it, but I'm trying to think of anything you can do. That's probably your quickest option. CC is still decent on, obviously not so much at 93, but instant up air maybe can just get him out, especially because it knocks down. Just a thought. Yeah, again, jump out of shield.
Yeah. I think I start wave dashing out of shield a little bit more, but yeah, it's still.
Especially because he's obviously just going for blind shine pressure over and over again.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that's not much of a mix-up game there, especially at high percent. He just gets to get up smash. Okay. How do I phrase this? So what do I see here? The stock starts, okay? Well, one, I'm assuming this grab is a flub.
Yeah.
Flub. Okay. A habit that I want people in general to get out of, and this is a thing that I struggle with as well, is when you have invincibility, thinking that the best way to get an opening is just by blindly throwing at hitboxes. Because that's what you were doing here. Up air, up air, up air, misfit put, up air, right?
Right.
That's not.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
That's not gonna get you too much. To me, and it's not even the fact that it's throwing out moves that I think is the issue. It shows me that you're just trying to hit them and you're not actually watching what they're doing. and that's a big problem as well. Especially on the good foxes. Like if you do that against me, I'm just gonna wait here and shield. And if you're not ready and you're throwing at aerials, I'm just gonna shield, slide off, go to ledge, back to ledge, back to center stage. I'm fine. I'm safe. Or I'll go to the top platform. If you want to keep up airing me, that's fine. I'll CC up smash you if you try to come up here. Right? So that's kind of a problem. And so I would recommend, even if it's, again, a terrible read, going for a more, just trying to get yourself in a habit of looking at him and anticipating where he's going next. Like you see him here. Okay, I think he might go to top platform. So when he's here, instead of up airing it here, up air up here, or back air up here. Right? Try to be deliberate about what you're doing. Yeah, try to be deliberate about where you're placing your moves and not just trying to throw out any move to hit him. Because that, again, is a very big problem. 90% of the problems in this game, you'll see, boils down to not watching or reacting properly, but they're all in, like, different ways. And so you need to kind of get all of them pointed out.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Okay, good. So you roll there. Finally works. Get back in there. So this actually was decent. I think you were just slow on the reaction, but I think if you were slightly faster. So, okay, I like the idea here. I think the issue was the fact that you predicted this nair, and you just chose an option that wasn't fast enough. This back air was not fast enough. So you recognized properly that you had to run out of his nair range if you were going to punish him, but you didn't recognize that the back air wouldn't have come out fast enough. So I have a lot to talk about with this interaction. So you do this. Now, first off, let's start at the basic. You do this roll, and you think he's going to nair in. Okay? What option do you have here? That would be great. That gets around the nair and beats it out.
I could do CC, or I could do that whizzy stomp thing that he does.
Both are great.
CC, since
Both are great. Both are great. You can do the whizzy stomp. You can the Lord stomp. No. Maybe it was Lord stomp at one point, but now it's the whizzy stomp. He's famous for it. It's all he does for 80% of his neutral. Whizzy stomp here is great. CC is great. Both are great. That's the easy part to me. That's like, okay, look back. What could you have done? Now, this is the harder part for most people, I think. So you correctly assess that you have to get out of the way of his nair, right? This was great. This is great spacing. Perfect. Now, the problem here is you decided earlier on that you want to do the back air, and while you react to his spacing, you forgot to account for the fact that the back air is not fast enough to punish it. Because I think if you saw here, you know that Falcon's back air is not the quickest move. It's just not going to be fast enough, right? And Fox is on the ground anyways. Like, he's not going to be jumping into it by that point.
Right.
And so this is the trickier part. Just because you have an idea doesn't mean you have to commit to it super early. So right here, you don't have to commit to the back air until any move until you're here. You committed to the back air back here, because if you were watching him the entire time, you would have realized, oh shit, like I don't have time to get a back air out when I'm this far back, right?
Yeah, you're right.
And so a problem there is going to be looking at the situation and deciding, what do I actually have time to do? And that's tricky, but there are a few things you could have done. So these are like, you know, whenever you're on commentary and you get really jarred because like a top level player picks a really strange option but it works out perfectly. This would be one of those situations. Like if I was playing Falcon, chances are I'd probably immediately shield stop pivot power shield, or I'd probably do like turn around power shield grab, because it's an early nair.
Right.
That's probably what I go for every time. People are like, how the f*** did you get that grab? It's because when I dashed back, I realized, like I can't get the back air here. Like I want the back air, but I can't get it. Or a lot of times I do falling up air as Fox here, because it's great, especially at this percent. But obviously you can't do that as Falcon. You could do it with Stomp, and that's pretty good. But so yeah, at this point, it's really important here to recognize you don't have to commit to the back air when you're back here. Because I think you commit to this back air the second you started your dash back.
Yeah, I think you're right. I definitely had the idea of wanting to back air much earlier on. You're completely right.
But if you just commit yourself to getting to a good spacing and then making a decision, once you were here, you would have realized, okay, if I CC, he's going to turn me around and I grab him. And he did an early, and he's probably going to do an early nair because he's probably going to catch a jump because you've been jumping out of hit stun a lot already. But also that's just the way he naturally plays. You could tell because it's the first 80 things he did in a row was trying to catch jumps. And so if you recognize that, it's like, okay, I could CC, get turned around. I could turn around and shield. If I think he might drill, I can do the stomp. Or one of my favorite options, recognize that you're in trouble and play the mix-up game after. Recognize that you might have messed it up, but Melee is a two-player game, right? So you see this, and it's like, nair. He could shine. He could do anything he wants, right?
Right.
Fox sees this, and he's like, oh shit, I did a bad nair. I'm gonna get grabbed or something. And so what does he think? He might spot dodge.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
He might spot dodge. He might shine. Both those things would lose to Stomp. Both of them you could time properly and grab, right? And so sometimes you have to play the mix-up afterwards if you recognize that you're not in the situation to win the current mix-up. And that doesn't mean it's not favorable for you, but why choose a mix-up that you have a 60% chance of winning when the next one gives you an 80% chance of winning?
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And so I know it's going to be a little weird for you to implement this because I'm trying to give you like commentator knowledge as well, because these are things that you can pick up on while you're watching. But this is also something that you can definitely start implementing in your play. Like, I don't think the control of your character is a gigantic problem right now. Obviously, it could always get better, but that's something that None is really good at. He plays the mix-up after the mix-up. But that's also why playing like a robot is kind of a hard counter to him, because if I do this, I know he's just going to play that mix-up, and I'm like, okay. And then I just run in an air again, or I just up tilt, and then he gets hit by it every time.
Right.
And so you have to be able to like be a little more, you have to be more adaptable, I guess, in that sense. But he is like, the second he feels fear in you, these are the types of mix-ups he thrives off of. Right. He's so good at them. This is a really important concept that I would figure out. So you have 3 ways effectively to deal with this, right? And depending on the type of player you are, you might favor one more so than the other. So I'm not going to tell you which one I would do here, because I don't think that's particularly useful to you. I would just tell you that there are multiple ways to do it, and you should try to experiment with yourself and figure out, in these types of situations, what do you like to do the most? What's most natural to you? The fact that you say back air, I would assume the stomp, or just picking a better option and reacting later, is probably best, but I could be wrong.
All right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Even that back air that I do when he has the shield up, he can punish that, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
up smash out of shield. It didn't even hit him.
Yeah,
well, it did hit
smash
him.
out of shield.
But yeah, up smash out of shield, shine out of shield. That's just a bad situation to be in, right? So you don't want to be in there.
Yeah. At that point, I should. I definitely committed to the back air very early, but maybe once I see that he has the neutral air out, I could at least maybe go behind a shield or something, or fade back further. A little bit like that. That back air just gets beaten out a lot of times. Yeah, that makes sense. And
something to keep in mind when you watch a Fox player, when people are like, "Oh, Fox's follow-up is brain dead." The reason Fox's follow-up is actually so good is because I don't have to react till I'm up here. If I don't like the situation, I'm up here reacting. I can go to top platform. I can change my fastball timing. I can change my drift, and that's what makes it actually hard to do. There's a bunch of mix-ups you could here. Someone in my chat actually said correctly that late bear is a pretty good mix-up here, and it is, because a lot of people will try to jump afterwards. The no fastfall trick that I do with Fox actually applies really well to Falcon too. If you do no fastfall and he does a spot dodge, right? You might be able to catch
hit
it.
That. Yeah, it'll just barely hit that.
It also creates a nice tomahawk timing. It creates a nice in-between tomahawk timing, which is a really good mix-up too. But keep in mind that you can also react to things with your aerial timing and your fall speed. Fastfall, no fastfall, all the things come into play when you're coming around situations like this. Jump out of shield again. I actually don't mind this knee because it's kind of a hard call on what he's doing. You miss it a little bit. Again, Stomp probably is better because he's staying super grounded. He's not. If he's jumping, it's short hop. But it's definitely not bad that you tried to call that out, even if it got you almost killed. Nice. Okay, Falcon, get in this habit. When you hit someone, even if you're not sure if you can follow up, just immediately run at them. It's one of the things None, I think, sets his punish game apart, in the sense that like he links things that like nobody else links, and I'm sure you've been on commentary, but like, how the hell did he find that hit? When he hits you right here, he's immediately dashing out. There's no hesitation, and if he can find a knee, he reacts, and if not, again, you don't have to commit. So you start dashing, and then it's like, okay, do I get an opening? No, you head back. But right here, you might have been able to get a short hop knee if you were super fast.
I guess I don't dash right away. Nope. I dashed a little bit late. That's true.
So here's something that I want you to think about. Can you actually confirm whether or not this is... Can you actually react in time to immediately dash once his up air hits? So you hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you reacted as you hit him, right?
Yeah. I should just start dashing immediately. I think I do that sometimes, but you're right that I'm definitely not doing it here.
So what's the difference here? Here, what None would do in his brain, even if he doesn't realize it, he reacts to the fact that this is a mistech. So right here, he realizes that the up air is going to hit, and so he doesn't have to react to the hit confirm. He knows it's going to hit as long as he hits his execution. And so once he's here, he already knows he's running off the stage.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm only reacting to it after I get the hit. I see what you're saying.
And you can't react to it in time. It's just not possible. Like, human reaction time is a limiter. And so you can react to things before they happen. So this is like, I know George Fox like to talk about reaction points a lot, and I think they're actually really instructive tool to use. Right here is the reaction point. Is the up air going to hit? Is it not going to hit? Because you've already committed to the up air. You can't react at this point, right? Is it going to hit? Is it not going to hit? Yes, it definitely will hit. And so you can already anticipate what you're going to do next. You know he's going to go in some trajectory over here. You can just start running off and see if you can follow up. None needs this 10 out of 10 times, or just some stupid reverse back here, up B shenanigan nonsense. Whatever he wants to go for. But he's going out there already. And that's going to give him a gigantic advantage over someone who tries to confirm the hit itself, which is going to make you slower. Right? So right there, he already knows he's going off. And then you hesitate.
Yeah.
And you miss the edge card.
Yeah, I think I get another up air if I do it faster.
Yeah.
If I dash immediately.
Another up air, another knee. You might have been able to get run off knee.
Yeah, it's true. Definitely a lot more.
Any number of things. Falcon's punish game, like, he can get whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
There's tricky parts about him, but the punish game is definitely not one if you know how to react properly. You can get literally whatever you want off of it. You could have gone up air, you could have done knee, you could have maybe even... Could you have gone a recap? You might have gone a re-grab.
Yeah, there's a lot. For sure, there's a lot.
You could have gone grab, down throw knee, and crowd goes wild, and now your entire crowd is going for you, and because you're Falcon, you're feeling like you're having the time of your life. You got momentum.
That sounds right.
Right?
Yeah.
All from that one slight adjustment on how you react to things. Okay, again, you went for the nation crouch cancel down B. That's funny. It looks like this was semi-intentional too. I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's funny. It worked out well. Like with the way he's like holding down, it actually was it was a shockingly good option. Tournament winner. You can position yourself a little closer so you can punish tournament winner. You're a little far away. Remember that you can react to tournament winner with up air. So a small thing you can think about is you want to be in the process of dashing back like when he's in the decision of when he wants to do. Because if he does tournament winner, you can react and come up and up air. And if he gets on stage, obviously ledge dash is a certain amount of frames. You can react and dash back.
Right. So I'm dashing in too quickly without seeing what option he's actually
either
doing.
Too quickly or too late. Because you can dash dance here. Just make sure you're timing it in between the fire. So like, let's say he's coming to ledge. I'm going to dash dance, but I'm going to make my dash dance such that when he hits ledge, and I know that timing, he has to wait a certain amount of frames before he gets off, I'm going to make sure that I'm about to dash back in. And if he tournament winners, I can react. If he ledge dashes, I can react again. And likewise, if he fire stalls, I'm going to do the same thing. Back to the same thing. Dash dance, dash dance, dash dance. Once the fire stall's done, start going in. If he tournament winners, you can just up air it. It's an easy way to like never miss it. And again, remember, ledge dash takes like... Just so you can... Because I know everyone's scared of ledge dash, but just keep this in mind. So like, he ledge dashes here, right? Okay, so he messes this up. So from ledge get up, 1, 2... Discernible here between tournament and ledge dash. You can actually discern down to frame 1, but let's say you've been batted. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then he buffers the turnaround. So you have plenty of time to react.
Right.
And then you just get out of there. As long as you're not right up here, because that's just stupid. Don't be right up there. Someone's calling me, I'm ignoring them. Again, these knee reads. So you went for a bunch of them. Do you notice how you literally haven't stomped once in neutral?
Yeah, that's true.
Why?
I think it's just not really in my... I just don't think to do it very often, because I have gotten punished prior, so I think I'm just kind of a little bit more scared of doing it in neutral, which is not the greatest thing.
And I'm sure you can already put pieces together, but just in case you can, or in case anyone who was watching this lesson can't. First discussion we had, the first 3 seconds, what did I talk about?
Me just going and getting a backer that didn't really have any purpose, especially with low percent Fox.
Yeah, and what stemmed from it? Like, what did I say you need to go back and do?
Either CC or Stomp, I guess.
Fundamentally, like, what's the process?
Thinking about what options I should be covering, or what I'm actually trying to punish, instead of just throwing out hitboxes.
Figuring out the situation, right? What works, what doesn't. Again, you said you'd be punished for Stomp, but if you knew the situations, you could figure out easily, okay, I'm punished for Stomp in these situations, because I don't think you would have ever gotten punished for a Stomp in any of these situations. And especially because it's a different player. You have to play differently based on the player you're playing against. That's a very important thing to remember. Just because something doesn't work against someone doesn't mean it's not going to work against someone else, and that's a very important thing to pick up on. But if you knew the situations where Stomp worked and where it doesn't work, you would notice probably that like a lot of the situations Stomp would work. So even if someone else punished you for it, they probably played differently. And what he's doing, you would already had this answer in the back of your head, and you would have recognized, like, okay, grounded Fox. A lot of these situations that I've seen that Stomp's really good, I should probably start using it more. Even if you don't know exactly where you should be using it, just as even a general like guideline of like more grounded Fox, these more options more area-based options, these options more. And even just that alone, it will help you so much in adapting and making sure that you're consistent against a variety of players, and make it less likely that you have a playstyle counter.
Makes sense.
So that would have solved that situation and this situation.
Right.
Okay, so you're waiting for the spot dodge. He hasn't spot dodged yet. I know it's kind of hard to do that in tournaments. So I'm not going to be hard on anyone who can't, but once you get, the longer you go, obviously the higher you climb, the more you want to be able to pick up on those tendencies where it's like, okay, he's not spot dodging and I'm going for this aerial over and over again. Maybe it's time to tomahawk grab him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like that. I like you dash. I cannot believe that worked.
Yeah, that's the silly little throw.
You had a knee there. Worked out anyways. That's fine. Yeah, same knee. This one, he hasn't punished it yet. But if he does one full hop, you're going to get fucked for it. Full up over an air, full up over up smash. Or up air. Okay. And one more concept, because I know I can see that you like to throw out hitboxes. Keep in mind the situation you throw out hitboxes. When you're at a scramble, so one thing that Falcon loves that he can do that almost no one else can do, you have an answer to Fox full hop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when he's up in this area, up air is a lot better than when he's like chilling over down here, right?
Right.
So you used up air a lot, and I think maybe that's why you used it why he had invincibility, because I haven't seen you doing it really otherwise. Maybe I'm not paying attention, but using a lot more knee when he's on the ground. So it's just important to internalize why you're using up air here as opposed to like when he's down here and jumping.
Right.
Nice tech. Yeah, you really like. Also, when you're in the air, you love to use up air.
For sure. Definitely, yeah.
And what'd you do here? Jab, jab, same exact knee read, and he finally flopped over you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm doing that same knee read again.
Jump out of shield again. That was better. So this is better because even though you went to the corner and that's scary, you haven't done this yet. You always shield here, and because you did that this one time, it wins you this neutral exchange.
Right.
If you immediately went out on the back air, you get this punish easy also.
Right, I get like an up air or knee or something for sure.
That's for anyone watching. If he back airs, and
yeah, that's a knee for sure.
Yeah.
Or up air, yeah.
What's the reaction point? When you jump, you see the spot dodge. You know you're gonna get it.
Yeah, I am reacting definitely late.
Yep.
And part of it, I think, is also because I'm down in stocks. I'm a little bit more careful, unnecessarily, obviously.
Yeah.
With the way I'm punishing. Yeah, I see him off stage. I'm like, oh, maybe I should just stay on stage and get the stock. And that's not really the greatest mindset. Yeah.
Well, it's not that it's a great mindset, because I don't think that necessarily that's a bad mind. Like, taking less risks when you're down isn't necessarily itself a bad thing. The only issue I have with this is the fact that if you had a solve for the situation and you knew what you were doing in that situation, there wouldn't be a reason to question it because you know it just wins.
Right, it is guaranteed, yeah.
And again, even if you hit the back air and he goes flying off, you immediately dash out, it's like, okay, he went off, and then you just grab ledge. Good, bad DI.
Jump back.
Okay, this is just basic paying attention to him. He's over here. He drops down on this side. There's no reason to be dashing back.
There's no reason to be over there. Yeah.
There's no reason to go back over there.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've done that, so I'm not going to make fun of you for it. But I've done it. I've done it my fair amount too. Don't worry. See, again, you did that same thing where you shielded here, and now you dashed back around the nair. And maybe you aren't doing this consciously, but you see how it's like, okay, I can see that this is a situation. And remember, we talked about dash back grab before. And now it's worked twice in a row, basically.
Right.
And both times you get a grab off it. And maybe a stock. Good punish. Nice. Forward tilt. Why?
If they DI in, again, I don't think I'm reacting perfectly, but if they DI in, it does work.
Okay,
but it's not even like the greatest punish, even if they DI in, but I think sometimes you can get a regrab.
Is there a universe where you can like run off stage because he jumped back and then a reaction up air everything? I'm not sure. This is more for my own, but it's like if I see this double jump, which I can react to during the F tilt, can I like run off, double jump up air, cover like most things, and if he goes below the stage, I just land on stage and I edge guard normally? Can you do that?
You're talking from the Falcon perspective?
Yeah. So like right here, he double jumps. You preemptively run off because he jumped back and you can react to that. I need to run off rising up air to cover side B and mid shorten or short shorten on any of these heights.
If you have enough time, that's kind of. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Maybe at low percents too. Sometimes I'm a little bit wary of like the down throw combos getting shined, but again, I think it's just figuring out what will actually work for sure.
Yeah, exactly. That just means you don't have an answer for those situations, and so you're not feeling comfortable in them.
Mm-hmm.
Again, lots of knees and plays. Good up here. And the tomahawk. And see, look at that immediate reaction.
Yeah.
You would have killed him like 3 more times with this earlier. And you know why you got this reaction, not the other ones?
I definitely was. This one, you're totally right. That's something I didn't really realize about myself. I definitely am. I knew this back air would link to a knee.
Yeah.
If
but you know why?
Before I hit it.
There's a very good reason why.
I'm not sure.
So
Why?
You're in the air. You literally cannot do anything else till you hit the ground.
Oh.
You have all this time to react to the fact that you hit him. And so I think you still,
totally right.
I think you did confirm on hit that you hit him, but because you have nothing else to do until you hit the ground, you had all this time between here and here to be like, okay, knee time.
Oh, dude, I did not realize this stuff about myself. That's really
right.
That's great.
That's why it takes 5 years to get to the top, because it's fucking ridiculous how much you have to learn.
Ah, that's so crazy. You're totally right.
Get up air. Up air is a little scary, CC, but if he's on the platform with you, it's not that bad. Just be wary of it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Might Sakura angle 0? I don't actually know. And again, that dash back grab. It's worked every time because that's all he's doing. He's running with that nair over and over again. And even if it's on the platform, it's the same concept. We're running with the aerial, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I stopped doing the back air.
All right, you went for the knee read. Slide into space. That was funny. And you went for the spot dodge there too. Good. You've messed up a few things in stock just execution-wise, but the ideas have all been pretty good so far. Yeah, he got the tomahawk.
Yeah.
That's fine. You got outplayed. Yeah, and you don't have a great reaction to tomahawk like Fox does. You don't have like shine. You got it stuck in your movement. It is what it is.
Yeah, I got stuck in my movement for sure.
It's an up air. And I like that you're staying mobile with the stock. You're not letting him lock you down. You haven't done that stomp out of shield once. Look at that.
No, yeah, literally is the one time, huh?
Yeah.
And it works.
I can't believe you went for another stomp there to Debbie. So you're
I definitely meant to knee and I messed up, and then I just
let's just say you're a psychopath instead.
It.
Cannot say I would have ever gone for that stomp. Maybe up air to me.
I don't think I don't think I'd do that normally either. It was a weird mess up. Then
so reacting to it. Obviously, I think Meds is a higher tier Fox, so I think we might get more mix-up based information from this. So we'll go over a game of this, and then we'll call it. Obviously, as you can tell, I go with one game. I pretty much pick apart a lot. So
no, that's great. I mean, I think you got a lot of my just my habits or the way that I'm thinking about the game. You're challenging that, so that's great.
Okay, so I'm feeling we're gonna see a lot of the same things overlapping here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you grab that. Interesting. You're shield grabbing now. I wonder why. Dash hands grabs seems to be working pretty well for you. Missed up a punish. That I don't like stuff like this. Sure, maybe mechanically there's something you do. You wave dash too far. You wave dash behind him, so maybe that far. But like that, I think you can figure out yourself. If you ever have a question like that, feel free to message me on Discord. But I can just answer that in 2 seconds on Discord and a DM. I don't need to spend time on a lesson on like a technical question like that.
Sure, makes sense.
Any dash back again. Reacting also comes into play here, where once you were all the way back here, it's pretty clear that you can't react to that, and so you have to play the next mix up.
Yeah, I should just do something else. Yeah. That's also a definite habit of mine where I'll go for the punish even though it's clear that I won't be able to get it.
So far, he's calling out like a lot of your defensive habits. He called back the dash, but he called out the jump out of shield.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Oh, just go out there. He's dead. He's so dead.
I know. Don't look.
Nothing happened.
Pure mess up. No, yeah, you're right.
That's just the back air. He's so fucked. You had this stock 100%.
I think I wanted to back air, and then I did that knee, and then I did a weird fastfall. But yeah, that's it's all bad.
Yeah, you know the answer there. That's your stock. You won that exchange, and then you decided to not win. I like that a lot. That was good. That was really good awareness. Misspaced the knee. You should practice. You should just practice like spacing your aerials on tech rolls because you've gotten a lot of miss mileage off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, got it that time. That should be okay. You got to reverse that, but that's okay. Just clean it up. Never mind.
Yeah, I should have just reversed it.
Do you ever do the thing where you dash into here and when they're that far out because they can't really side B like super well, and then you jump out and get their up B?
Okay.
Important mix up to have. Important mix up to have. Also, we talked about this too. When Falcon's here, I'm Fox player, so you have to think about it from the other side. The last thing I'm thinking is he's gonna cover is he can cover high, and so right here I would grab ledge to make it look like I can only cover low, and then I would like ledge dash and get up here.
Right.
That's like duking someone out.
Yeah, I do it way later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
There's no way to cover. You have to recognize that you cannot cover everything.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a flub on all ends that worked out in Fox's favor because Fox was dumb. I like that was a stutter step that he didn't mean to do, and I think you got stuck in your dash animation.
Right.
That knee's not working. It's not working out too well for you in any of these sets. Might be time to rethink that. And it might work against scrubs, and that's also it's equally valid for something to work against bad players. But as long as you recognize that this is something that you do against people of lower skill levels and not people against higher skill levels.
Right.
I definitely have chump checks for sure. I have things that I do against round wonders that I would never think of doing against top players.
Right. That makes sense.
Same back air timing. Haven't seen any real. I have not seen a lot of tomahawks from you yet, but that's okay. He shines out of shield, so it's a little scary to tomahawk him, but still something to keep in mind. And you're just getting locked down here, and then somehow get a shield grab. Okay. That just looks so bizarrely funny. Okay, good. Caught him coming in. And keep in mind, when you have a lot of space, it makes it a lot easier for you. Yep. So when you have a lot of space, it makes it a lot easier for you to control like the pace of neutral, right? When you're here and he's here, you kind of can set up. You have time to react, right? He has time to react too, but you can kind of pick and choose what's going to happen. When you're up close, you don't want to be up close with Fox, right? You don't want to be here with Fox. If you miss this, you don't want to be in this situation. That's just bad news for you. You could, I do think you could stand to use like the short hop over, like shine and spot dodge stomp a little bit more in scuffles. You could definitely stand to use it more because I think it is good. Don't abuse it, but it is good. But in general,
sorry, jumping over the Fox and stomping there.
Yeah,
like facing forward.
Like let's say you were stuck here in shield and he hit your shield and you jump over and stomp it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Got it. Okay.
In general, you don't use stomp enough. Stomp is like one of the most disgustingly broken moves of all time. Again, this you could have way dash off and back air. Right? Way dash off, back air.
Yeah, that's true.
You could also grab ledge and done like the reverse falling up air with invincibility, so you don't have to worry about getting burned. This worked because he missed his meteor cancel. Not bad execution test, but just you do have an option there that I think is objectively like going to work almost every time.
Right.
Oh, he caught onto the shield grab this time. This isn't like a thing where it's like, oh, like you were stupid for the shield grab. It's like, no, you did the shield grab a bunch and it was working really well. But you can't do that every single time against a good player. And part of recognizing when you're playing against a top player is recognizing that they're also thinking about what's going on. And so if you do something enough, they're going to catch on to it. And that's where kind of RPS comes into play, where sometimes you do things that cover the next step option. And there are ways to figure that out. Like, let's say I'm recovering. I was Fox, right? And I'm edge guarding a Fox. And let's say I cover them going high. Okay, and this is like kind of abstract. I don't expect you to latch onto it immediately, but it's just to introduce you to the concept. Let's say they recover high, and I edge guarded them recovering high. The next time, do they recover high again? Do they expect me to change it up, or do they do the same thing? And that gives me a lot of information, because let's say I'm tech chasing, and I covered tech in place, and I punished it. If I would argue that the person who went high twice is much more likely to tech in place twice.
Oh, I see. Oh, wow.
Right?
Because they're doing the same option in the recovery, you're going to extrapolate that to all the other options. Oh, that's cool.
And so there's like a thing you can have, a kind of like, you can associate like a value to something. Like, how likely are they to repeat the same option, right? And that's something that will help you with these mix-ups long term. Again, this takes a while to figure out, and I don't expect you to latch on immediately. But if you ever see like a neutral interaction that looks kind of funny, it's like full hop fair, full hop nair with Fox, and then immediately someone runs in and just catches movement that was completely different, it's because they've, even if it's not super like front of the mind conscious, they've intuitively picked up on some kind of timing or rhythm that someone has when they switch something up.
Right, because that will overlap in all the other ways that they would switch things up. That makes sense.
Because everyone has a rhythm or a tempo that they like to play at. Even if they're good at changing it up, there's still some kind of like decision-making process behind it, and usually you can figure it out, even if it's only on an intuitive level.
That's really cool.
Okay, you got the backer again. Yeah, there's some minor spacing issues. I actually don't think you got tremendously outplayed this game. You missed a lot of crucial conversions and small things that could have swung the game in your way. You might have gotten run over in the next games, but in this game, it did not look like you're getting super outplayed. Good. Okay. Not saying you're right or wrong for doing this, but just thought experiment, okay?
Okay.
And maybe Mez wouldn't have done this. When someone gets hit, what's their first inclination? Especially by Falcon. What do they want to do?
get out of the combo.
Where was I? I just completely...
I think it was like one of the last stocks. I think you went way far ahead.
Yeah, I did. Okay, that makes way more sense. Okay, but yeah, so while we're catching up to that, first inclination of Falcon, you get hit. You're either trying to reversal him or... Let me find another way to phrase this. Falcon's really fast, right?
Yeah.
He's very, very fast. Mm-hmm. If I get hit by Falcon, my initial instinct is either to crouch, as most people's are, because I want to CC shine. But the one thing I don't want to do usually is immediately hold out. Because if I get hit by a knee, I'm dead, right?
Right. Okay.
And so this isn't the best way to phrase it, but hopefully the idea comes across. You get this, right? You get this
I understand what you're saying.
And then you grab him here, but you pummel. What happens if you don't pummel and you immediately down throw? What's more likely to happen?
They're going to be holding away.
If you get the pummel, they're more likely to hold away because they react to the fact that you pummeled. You give them time to react to the next option.
Yeah.
Right?
I think part of it is I'm giving myself time, but that is the only negative for me because I'm the one in control.
Yeah, that's not necessarily a bad thing either because if you ever play like an instrument, it's always important to do things slowly and bring your decision making and like do things the proper way and then bring your play up to speed, right? And I think that's very applicable with melee. You don't start out trying to move 1,000,000 miles an hour when you can't even understand what you're doing like at all. I would recommend like tearing it down and learning it slow first and then catching it back up to speed. So I don't necessarily mind that you did this here to help yourself give time because it's like that's actually good. Like if you're giving yourself time, you might as well pummel, right? It's going to make it hard for them to mash out and you can buffer down throw. But just as a concept in the future, it can apply to a lot of punish game mix-ups. But just think about the fact that when you do something like pummel, you're also giving the other person more time to figure out the appropriate response. Right? They can't figure out what you're thinking unless you do that. Like, let's say you're both in this situation equally. It's going to be really hard for them to figure out what's going on if it's, like, super fast. But if you give them time, now they're like, okay, DI out.
Yeah, and I think that's why I do forward throw here.
Yeah, and that's really good.
They're going to DI out.
No, that's really good if that's why. I like the ledge dash. It was a little slow, but it's fine. And you use Stomp to cover tech in place.
And I missed Stomp knee. But yeah.
Was that supposed to be a knee?
That's supposed to be a knee, yeah.
We won't talk about it. Dash over Stomp. See, working pretty well, right?
Yeah, I should use Stomp more, huh?
Yeah, it's working out really well whenever you use it. Again, don't make it your entire neutral, but it definitely has a lot of applications. You've barely used it, like at all.
Yeah, I have barely used it. I think at some point, what you were saying earlier, at some point I got scared of using it and I overcompensated to all my opponents.
Yeah, and it's like you have to recognize, like for some people, yeah, maybe you don't want to Stomp. They figured out how to their playstyle plays around it really well. But that doesn't mean for everyone. And that's also why when you lose badly to something like that, it's important to go back and figure out why you lost to it. Because then in the future, if you see someone with that same style, you'll know preemptively, okay, Stomp's not going to be great against this person.
Right.
And also remember that Stomp is going to make your other mix-ups a lot more powerful.
Yeah. I think my opponents are not even worried about it for the most part.
Ooh, that was a good up tilt. Yeah. They shouldn't be. Okay, you go for that again. I still think you should go for a few more just natural tech. Do you know how to react to Fox's animations? Do you know about that?
I just practice on Uncle Punch.
Do you know what to look for?
No.
Okay, so that's actually
you made a video on this.
That's very, very. I didn't make a video on it. Someone definitely has, but that's very, very important to know. So let me share my screen. Let me start this up real fast. So Fox and Falco have very particular animations when they are doing. So what's your fear, of course, as anyone? Your fear is. Oh wait, I have to go to the combo training. Your fear is tech and play shine, right? Mm-hmm. That's what everyone's scared of. Mm-hmm. So when someone does tech and place as a spacey player. Oh wait, that's tech in. That's I was about to say that does not look correct at all. You see this leg split?
Yeah.
That's how you know it's tech in place. So you fixate your eyes on that like vertical level right there. See, I'm like pausing on it every time because I have my brain trained to like react on that frame.
Yeah.
When you react, you look at those feet up there because everything else is easy to react to, right? Nothing else is hard to react to. You might miss it, but you would know that 9 out of 10 times you would trust yourself to react to tech away, right? Mm-hmm. Or tech in. But if you see that leg split, then you grab.
Right.
And now just for comparison, when they do tech away, besides the camera moving, see how these legs are together? There's no split.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
And when he does tech in, again, together. No split. So look for that Y shape. If you see that Y shape, you know that it's time to grab. And otherwise, you can just react. Right?
Right.
So that's the animation you have to look for. That's very important to know. Because I think that reaction textures without knowing that is either barely human. I was able to do it, but I think it's because I just have really good reaction time. And I couldn't do it consistently. And I know for a fact I have, like, broken reaction time. I cannot do it without that animation consistently. And I have, like, 12 frame reaction time, 13 frame reaction time.
Mm-hmm. And Falco's the same way with the leg split?
Yep, same thing. Same exact animation. Identical.
Got it.
So again, trying to go for the knee. He's doing a lot of those drills. You haven't used a full hop much in scrambles either. Like, not when you're defensive, but, like, let's say, like, you two... So there's a difference between a scramble, you being in a defensive position, and an offensive position, and just neutral. There's a difference between close, you getting rushed down, and you, like, enter, like, putting pressure on him, right? And so your full ups a lot have been defensively, but you haven't done any, like, aggressive ones that have, like, forced you to have them, like, get a different timing mix up in their head.
Right.
Just something to think about.
Right.
I think Falcon's follow up actually is quite good. That was a great backer by him. Good. Classic issue, especially on last stock. Why did this backer not work? You decided up here that he was here and you were gonna back air, right?
Yeah, they have so much time.
But he can just dash back. I remember what I said. You reckon right here you should be anticipating what's going to happen. And so if you know he's gonna dash back, what happens if you drift in like this and then you just dash dance around them?
Right.
You gotta grab. You might win the game.
Yeah.
Remember not to react to where they are. You can't react to a lot of things in this game, but you can react to any... There's always a reaction point where there's the latest possible time you can react to figure out what you want to do. And this was an example of you reacting far too early and attacking at him as opposed to figuring out where he's going to go. If you watch an old Armada video, he says one of the biggest piece of advice he can give in neutral is overshooting and undershooting, and it sounds really basic, but the principle is you want to be predicting where they're going because you can't actually react to where they're going 90% of the time. But you can react to our range. And that's what's way more important. This will work against a bad player, probably, because they'll do a dash dance. Because, like, oh, he's coming down, dash dance, dash dance, but they don't understand how to actually dash dance. But against a good player, I see it, I'm like, I'm getting the f*** out of here. I hope he back airs. I also might be scared of Stomp. Keep that in mind. Remember, it's a two-player game. I see this, I'm on the ground as Fox, I'm scared of shitless of Stomp.
Yeah. At the very least, I should get out of that situation, even if I don't throw out that particular
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then he called that. That was actually a great nair. He called the wave dash back. That was really good by him. That's pretty. And that actually has some. He has some stuff.
No, Mez is really hard. It only got worse as the set progressed.
Yeah, because he probably picked up on a bunch of your habits. And again, he is obviously like a borderline like top player, and so that's going to be a lot harder for you to pick up on. But yeah. So I obviously gave you a lot of information. So let me give you more practical information to help you achieve your goal of better tournament results. Obviously, I gave you all this info. I gave you a hodgepodge of info. And it's like, what the f*** do I do with all this now? Because you can't work on all of it at once, because it's just not going to be beneficial. It's going to be like, okay, I worked on all of this, but like I don't feel like I'm getting any better. And that's the number one thing I hear from people. So you should have a set of priorities. What do you think you want to work on first? And if you're stuck, I can obviously help you. But you should try to figure out, okay, what do I want to work on first? Well, for you, not having one of your moves in neutral seems pretty big. So I would try playing around with Stomp, right? Right. You can overcompensate for it in friendlies as long as you're conscious about it. Why do I say that? You'd overcompensate not using Stomp because you got punished for it. But if you consciously overcompensate for it to figure out where it's good, you can add it into your gameplay and understand where you actually want to use it, and that'll make decision making and just clarity of thought, like the clarity of your thinking, much better. Right. And so I think overcompensation, when done properly, is probably the most effective way to either introduce new ideas or refine ideas, because as long as you're doing it thoroughly and you're thinking about it, you can very quickly figure out where it works and where it doesn't, and make sure to think through why. What other mix-ups does it open up as well?
Right. And
you're at the level where... So, like, I went from... And I think this is possible to any character. I don't think it's because I play Fox. I don't think it matters what character you play. I went from around your level to top 10 in about a year and a half. It's very doable to see crazy results, because honestly, most players are not that good at doing any of the stuff I talked about. And the stuff that I just talked about is why the top 5, top 7, 8 players are all really good. Because they're really good at doing this. And so that's why they don't lose to a lot of people. If you look at them, they're all super consistent besides Axe, who plays Pikachu. And that's not his fault. Well, it is his fault. But it's not his fault that he loses with Pikachu in the sense that like the character's just bad. And so he's going to have some weird losses. They're all really good at this type of thought. And if you can even get like honestly, I didn't do it efficiently at all. I honestly wish I had someone who was lecturing me through it, but I actually took the initiative to do it on my own. Instead of just trying to figure it out by playing 10 hours a day, because I would have probably seen much better results and been much less gimmicky as a player.
Right. That makes sense.
So this is not difficult to do. And obviously, there's a lot more stuff we could talk about at some point, but leave that for another day. I've already given you a ton to think about.
Yeah, I'll definitely go rewatch this VOD. That was great. There was definitely a lot of concepts that I'm not even like aware of in game, especially.
Do you have any
really good
questions you want to ask? Anything you want to touch on further, or do you think that you're good for now?
I think I'm good for now, honestly. I can't really think of anything. Like you said, it's a lot of information. I might DM you after I rewatch it.
Yeah, that's fine. I highly encourage you to DM. 2 things on that. 1, if I don't respond immediately, it's not personal. I just fucking suck at responding. I have someone who actually reads my DMs for me on Discord and tells me if I forgot to respond to a student specifically, because of how much I forgot. So just if I don't respond in a day, just bug me again. And then second off, like, I encourage questions. Especially if someone pays for a lesson, like, I'd rather them ask so that I can see that they're actually making use of it than just like do nothing with it.
Right. I'm sure I'll have questions. I just can't think of anything right now.
Yeah, no, you just got like bombarded by a bunch of like random ass knowledge, so it's not going to be easy to like decipher through what you actually want to learn more about. So,
Sweet, man. But thank you. That was very informative.
Good. I'm glad. That's all I really want to hear from it.